Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Creative Warriors online program powered by Vidyadan in association with Lovely Professional University. Yes, this is Pooja Arora. I'm going to be your host for today and tomorrow. And this workshop, especially on how to shoot like a professional photographer. Nowadays, when everybody is giving so much importance to your photograph, your videos, especially when you have to go on social media and it's everywhere, the photography is everywhere. So to start with, I'd first like to introduce you all to our guide, our mentor for this 2-day workshop, Mr. Mr. Abdul Noushad ji. Mr. Noushad ji started a responsible photography from school days, changing his lenses, updating and upgrading visions with his camera. A subject-toned and a tech-savvy photographer whose photographs published in Better Photography, Yartra Magazine, posters of World Wildlife Fund India, Ministry of Forest Environment and Climate Change, Manorama Mathruboomi Daily, Femina, Jems and Jewels, Mayoori Films, Mayoori Women's Magazine, United Nations, United Arab Emirates, that's UAE, MakeMyTrip.com, Piscean.coms, and he specialized in wildlife, fashion, and 360-degree virtual tour photography. He's currently serving as a director in the shoot school, Kochi in Kerala. So welcome you here on this platform.
Thank you, Pooja.
I have a huge list to talk about you, your work and your how talented you are. But I thought usko chota rakh ke, we'll keep it short and then we'll learn from you in this workshop. So today, as it's a 2-day workshop, if you can bifurcate how it's going to start today and what's going to happen in tomorrow's session, and then I'll leave it to you.
So good morning all, and thank you Vidyadan team and MESC for giving an opportunity to conduct a workshop like this. I'm very happy on behalf of Shukul as well as
So your volume is a little low, if you can.
Yeah, photography fraternity from especially from the South India. I'm very much interacting with them. Thank you all first. Then we are planning a 2-day workshop, and the today's sessions we basically discuss with for the considering the starters. I think a lot of starters are there in this workshop registered for this workshop. So we'll be having a detailed session on the basics of camera handling and controls today. We'll be completing by today. And tomorrow we'll have a detailed discussions on, mostly based on the practical sides and how to do more detail oriented, changing the lenses, what are the best lenses, what are the best tools, kind of things we can, have it on tomorrow, as well as, what is best equipments, how we can select those kind of things. We'll have interaction also. Thank you.
Great. So the session is all over to you. And guys, you can chat in the chat window. Like, of course, if you want to interact, you want to answer Sir's question, and you can send in your questions in the Q&A section. So any question we can take at the end of the session in the Q&A section. All right. So it's all over to you. You have all the rights to share your screen and everything is all set.
Oh, thank you, Pooja. So, good morning all. So today, we will be discussing some techniques on digital photography and camera control. So here are my contact details and email. You can also note that. But thank you. You can contact me after this workshop also by mail or
So your mic
yeah.
just.
I hope it is audible and
Yes,
clear.
yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
thank you, Pooja. Thank you, Pooja. Okay, so we'll be starting with what is the process. What is basically digital photography? How these are the main things we definitely what all things we take care of. Having shooting with a digital camera or any camera, basically, what all the process, what all the controls, how we deals with the camera. So the understanding the process of image acquisition. So, and in the next module will be getting familiar with photography terms, familiar with your camera, exploring various shooting options, and basic composition rules. This is the entire things we are discussing today. I hope everyone having a clear idea about the topics we are discussing today. So you can have a question and answer session, and we'll end of the session. Also, you can message me in between actually, so I can have a look at. So what are the cameras available right now in the market? So we'll have a glance on the what all the products right now available on the market actually. So most of us, having a mobile, and that is having a camera also, and we have a prosumer or a bridge camera, and a digital single lens translucent camera by Sony also, and we have a mirrorless interchangeable lenses camera that is so popular, and the future of the photography is basically will be on this mirrorless interchangeable lens cameras. And we have a digital single lens reflex camera with a small sensor. We'll call it as a crop sensor, and two types of sensors available in the market actually. One is with the micro four third, and the professional series DSLR having a full frame sensor camera, and the higher end version medium format. So these are the cameras right now available in the market. So most of us, starting a camera, want to buy a camera, will go for a basic digital DSLR. Nowadays, a few companies stopped the manufacturing of this DSLR cameras because all the way to the new technology, mirrorless interchangeable cameras. And again, that is going to lead the market. So we can find out, what is the main content in this two differences between these two. So before starting with the camera controls, better we'll have a basic understanding the primary thing needed or a primary tool needed for a photography. So what is that? So we'll go for this. It's nothing other than a light. What is our light? What is a why is so called visible light? So what is the content of what constitutes base lights? This is what we seen in this screen. Light is basically a small segment of the broader electromagnetic spectrum. We all studied about light, right? From the school days itself in physics. Light is a stream of particles. It travels in a straight line. So what is the difference between, a different kind of light? So these all things, we will have a basic understanding. So like what we call light is visible light to our human eye. What is that? What creates, our vision actually? So these are things, totally depends on, the cameras, or whether it be digital or film. So we can go to the next slide. It shows how a white light uh, white light excuse me, the components of a white light stream. We all studied that, it is combinations of violet to red color. That is, you can see in the slide that, normally we all know light travels in a straight line, and it consists of stream of particles, waves, and each colors having a different wavelength that separates the color. We all know that, right? If you take the signals, traffic signals, or the indicators of our vehicles, we can all see that, the red is used for the brake lights or alert light, especially in the traffic light. So we all study why is that? Because red light travels very faster and it can be seen from a far distance. So here is the visible spectrum. Visible spectrum consists of 400 nanometer to 700 nanometer in wavelength. So what is the wavelength in nanometer? Means 1 nanometer, we can say that 1 millionth of a millimeter actually. So you can imagine that how small it is, nanometer is. So this basically creates, different colors, and if you take the color band, it starts from 400, as I told you, from the violet shade to blue to green to yellow to orange, then to the jet red. You can see the color band in the slide itself actually. So basically the 400 to 500 basically constitute the green shades, and 500 to 600 constitutes the green color, and the 600 to 700 brings us, the red. These are the three colors any camera sensor can, that is the only colors the camera sensors can record actually. So we will look at in the sensor part itself. So this is basically about the light. Most of us knows that, light travels in a very high speed actually. So in photography, basically we consider a light in two mediums actually. That from the camera to reaching the sensor, light passes in two mediums. One is in the, the light travels directly in the atmosphere, then it passes through the camera lenses, then to the camera sensors. So we can say that it travels in two mediums. One is our atmosphere, and one medium is the glass actually. So these are the two medium the light travels in between to getting a photograph. So we'll see, the basic thing when we talk about, the lens. So what does the basic component of a lens, and what does the lens specifications? So we will have a look at what the cross section of a camera and a lens. Actually, this is a slide shows what is the focal length. The focal length is the main criteria determines which lens uh, what needed for what purpose, which lens we go for. So have a look. We can see the first picture. You can see that there is a camera's sensor and lenses attached to that, and a lens. We can see that we will call it as a field, and in photography we'll say that two planes we are working on actually. One, you can see that the field is there. The field is having the things to be photographed. So normally we will call it as an object, and the what all objects we shoot as we gets in the camera, we will call it as an image actually. So if you take the focal length resides inside the camera actually. It's the distance between the sensor to the midpoint of the lens. So this is right now we listed the lens as just a single element, and in that element the midpoint, that it will call it as the optical center of the lens. So the distance between the optical center to the sensor or the plane, film plane, where the sensor is fixed is called focal length actually. So if you take any lenses, you can see that two specifications will be listed on any camera lenses. The first one will be the focal length, that normally denoted in millimeters, and the other one is the lens aperture actually, that will be listed like yeah, 2.8 or 3.5, 5.6, etc. So we'll have a detailed look on that later actually. So basically the slide, you can see that different the first picture shows the different sets of lenses, different huge array of lenses. The second picture is a camera having a lens attached on that. So the greatest advantage of this interchangeable lens camera is we can use different kind of lenses for different purposes actually. So huge lens range available nowadays in the market actually. So that is the main advantage of using a interchangeable. We always have right now we are all of us having mobile camera or already most of us using mobile camera, right? So the problem is there is no interchangeable lenses like the lenses available for the DSLR cameras in the market or mirrorless cameras in the market actually. And we all know the limitation of, because we all took good picture using our mobile plus but we will have a feeling that whether if we have a camera, then it will be look good or something like that. Why we are thinking like that? Because once we transfer our images to any of our PC or laptop or tab, and we are not happy with the quality of the image we are getting from a mobile phone. So definitely there is some edge over mobile phone cameras to the professional cameras. So that is why we all look for now going for an professional cameras or interchangeable camera lenses. So So what are the basic things, is there in the camera? That we will have a fast look over that. That is, how we see through a camera. So we have a photographic lens, and it gives us a view through a viewfinder. So here, this is a typical fixed camera uh, uh, cross section. Actually, basically, there is this is for a mirrorless. There is no mirror in this slide. You can see that. The next slide is a cross section of components in a DSLR. So if we compare both, see, these are the cross sections of a mirrorless and DSLR. So right now we can see that, what is the main difference between a mirrorless camera and a DSLR camera. So if you look at the first picture, DSLR camera, you can see that, lot of components in this, right? So if you take the light ray coming through the lens, then it normally passes through the iris. So we'll call it as a diaphragm. Then it comes to a mirror. A civil mechanism is there. It will go up and down. Then it goes to the light, the yellow lines. You can see that it travels to the upper side, to the pentaprism, and through that pentaprism only we can see our object. So finally we will operate using whatever controls we use to click remote release or hand click. We are getting the images from this only, right? So the next slide, a mirrorless camera. Mirrorless camera, it's simple, like very simple. No, there is no mirror or a prism or a there is no even less mechanical components. Just light passes directly to the shutter lens, passing through the shutter and then the sensor, and we will have the same uh, view what we are getting from the viewfinder is an electronic. We normally use an electronic viewfinder in a mirrorless camera actually. So most of the camera having an electronic viewfinder, and if you are not looking through the viewfinder, we can see directly on the back side of the screen live view, as like what we click in a mobile phone actually. So these are the basic two type of cameras available in the market for professional photography nowadays actually. So going to the components, we can see we will have a quick look at what is the main difference actually. As I told there is in DSLR we have a lens, a reflex mirror, shutter, image sensor, focusing screen, condenser lens, pentaprism, optical viewfinder, and electronic viewfinder.
So, one request, please, if you can please make it a full screen, the slide.
Okay. One second, excuse me. I think I need to convert to PPS, it seems. Just a moment. Excuse me. hope it is clear, right? Puja? Hello?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, it's clear.
Clear, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Puja. So these are the main components of mirror camera. So if you look at the differences between the DSLR and mirrorless, see, lot of components are not available. No need for that actually. Basically, the technology is very simplified for a mirrorless camera, and we are getting the same details and without any compromise. Actually, that's what uh, nowadays. And if you take the size also, it's very compact, and what all details, what all specification available in the DSLR, the same details are available in the mirrorless camera, and we have a lot of advantage also, a lot of pluses also. So initially there was some, technical limitations when the initial mirrorless camera uh, produced in the market actually when the first series I'm talking about the 7 8 years back actually. Now the things are changed, the technology updated. Nowadays all the high-end mirrorless cameras matching the what all details, all advantages of a digital camera right now available. So the future of the photography is professional photography is based on a mirrorless camera. There is no doubt in that. So here itself you can see that there is right now if you compare actually we don't need like we don't need a focusing screen, penta prism, reflex mirror, condenser lens. All these things are avoided in a mirrorless camera. And what the greatest advantage of a mirrorless camera is, it's very simplified and compact in size. You can have the what all things we are getting in the image, the same things we can see in the electronic viewfinder actually, in terms of color or the details of all ambient light or whatever it may be. So if you we don't need to worry about the levels of colors or any other changes. We sometimes we will be anticipating using an mirrorless. Those things are cleared. Those things are there is no need to worry about those things in a mirrorless camera actually. What all settings we are making, and in terms of sensor, we are getting right the same thing in the viewfinder of a mirrorless camera. So all of us having a worry about a lot of products in the market. So how many pixels we need, or which camera we need to buy, those kind of things. So in this slide we are talking about the sensor size and image quality. So sensor, camera sensor is nothing as a piece of hardware inside camera that captures the light and converts into signals which result in image. So basically camera lens, there is a camera lens, camera sensors. Sensor is basically we can say that it's a collection, or it's a matrix of small we can call it as normally we all see that it as in pixels, right? So for each photodiode represents one pixel actually. A pixel is nothing but picture element. There's a small components that that makes files that what that what we are getting in the photo. As all of us know that it's a digital file. So there is a in the previous slide I told you, there are a couple of products like camera products, like we have mobile camera, we have a small compact camera, SLR. So yeah, picture quality of a camera depends on the type, the type of sensors used in a camera, and of course the kind of optics used to shoot. So there is the two major things makes a good camera. So the first thing is which camera having a good sensor. That is all we all worried about. So how we can select a SLR or a mirrorless camera? So what all criteria we need to look for? So those are the basic things giving in the slide actually. So basically we have, you can see that in the comparison chart, the sensor size is mentioned in one box. Then the camera size, picture size is also listed actually. A small indication of the size of the sensor actually. So another one is the crop factor actually. So normally we compare everything like the sensor we normally will consider as based on the 35 mm format. Actually, we are used to long years for the film photography. So that is the standard measurements we are all normally look into that actually. So 30, that is 35 mm. Normally exists that 36 by 24 mm sensor size is the size of the films previously we are used actually. So we will call it as a full frame cameras, and the below that we have a crop sensor and micro four third. Then we have a small compact cameras. Then we have mobile cameras. So if you take the size of the sensor actually, it's a very huge difference between a small compact uh, uh, camera or a mobile camera. If you take normally we'll take the diagonal size. Sorry, the SLR camera having a lot of advantage. Like the sensor is very large. Then what the main advantage is, we all know that that is it is arranged by group of pixels, and the pixel generally records the color details of the photographs we are taking using a camera actually. So what is a pixel? That we all just look into the there is the arrangement. This light is the arrangement of pixels in a camera actually. So if you take any camera, the first one, the mosaic, we will call it as a bar pattern actually. These are the arrangement of pixels. That is the color pattern arrangements inside a camera sensor. That is listed on the top of. So most of the camera having the mosaic capture, and the second one we shows as a Fevion X3 capture as a sensor launched by a different company called Sigma. Rest of our camera use mosaic. We can call it as a 99% of the camera using the mosaic capture or a bare pattern. So bare pattern is nothing like it's just a matrix of pixels having. You can see that if you take the look into the sensor will be like this. If you, for example, if you take a 24 megapixel resolution camera, the 24 megapixel in the sense we can call it as horizontally 6,000 horizontal, normally you will have the shape of the sensor or a film is like, like rectangle shape actually. So 6000 by 4000 will be the resolution of that particular camera having a 24 megapixel. I took just an example, actually it's a 24 megapixel. So if we take the details, you can see that the pixels, there are three colors generally recorded in a camera sensor actually. So that is we will call it as a BGR, actually blue, green, red actually, and you can see that in the first pattern, the first matrix, you can see that it's blue pixels, and second matrix you can see that there is only green, and the third one is the green. So if you take the number of pixel or a percentage of pixel in any camera sensor actually, whether it is even our mobile camera sensor also, but you have seen last slide, right? It is very small actually, but the pattern will be the same. That is this mosaic pattern or a bear pattern, we'll call it as. But the difference is 50 percentage of the pixels will be in green, and 25 percentage only goes for blue and red actually. So this is the main arrangement of pixels or photodiodes in any camera sensor. So we'll go to the next. Regarding the Fevion, I know they're having a different arrangement actually. It is the camera sensor having a 3 layers actually, and all the 3 layers having equal number of color pixels. But this kind of this kind of sensor only available in the camera brand called Sigma, but unfortunately it is not penetrated in the market. But their technology was very good, but sometimes some technologies will not gain the market reach also. So even while when we talk about the sensor, but we cannot avoid Fabian architecture also. That is the only reason I mentioned here. So we'll go to exposure, or we'll say what does. So what is exposure actually? So all of us we will say that after clicking camera in our mobile or cameras, we'll say that there is no light, or sometimes say that it is more light, or I'm not getting it. It is kind of some kind of bleach is coming, or I'm not getting it. There is dark sides. So what is the right? What is the correct light? What is the right light? That is what exposure is. Exposure is basically the time the sensor is open to capture a scene actually. So we will call it as mostly related to the times, and two components basically. It's related to shutter speed and how much time required to capture it. So, and the end result will get a picture with proper exposure, proper light. We'll call it as a normal picture, good picture. Or we will say that it is not will not get picture correctly, we'll call it. So exposure, basically we can say that it is overexposed or underexposed or a proper exposure. So but basically on the light what we receive. So three basic components, all of us I think most of you are using the camera, right? So these are the three controls. Mostly you'll have a doubt whether all of us know that there is an aperture and shutter speed and ISO actually. So I don't know how many of you are working with manual mode actually. So in manual mode only, we will be having the full control over the camera, and we are shooting, we are playing with these three controls actually. So these are the key. We will call it as the main three controls that control light in a camera actually. This is aperture, the shutter speed, and the ISO. Aperture is just the opening of the of the diaphragm of a lens. Like what our eyes we have a retina light. So the kind of retina type mechanism is also there in the camera. Actually, we'll call it as aperture. Actually, aperture is nothing but opening of the lens. We'll call it as aperture. Actually, and it's a controllable. It's a set of blades that controls the intensity of the light. And every camera there is a shutter. Actually, the same thing is also can be properly controlled. Unlike a mobile phone, actually, we'll have a shutter speed, and we have also the ISO. ISO is the intensity of the lens controlled by the by the sensor. Actually, we can enable the sensor to record the intensity or adjust the intensity of the light by the ISO controls in a camera. Actually, so these are the three primary controls we will call controls that affects exposure in a camera. The next slide discussing about focal length, aperture. What is so what is the correct aperture, or what is the aperture? I told it's a opening of mechanism inside the lens, that controllable opening mechanism, nothing but a set of blades. So different lenses having different kind of numbers of blades are used for the aperture actually. So in this you can see that it starts from the f number. Actually, f numbers are used to indicate the aperture in any lens. So there are lenses starting from 1.0 to 22, then 32, 36, kind of. It depends on we'll discuss more about in the future slides actually. So this slide just giving a brief information that the larger we have a larger, we have a medium, we have a small aperture actually, but it's inverse proportional actually. If we have small number of f unit, we can see that large opening is there actually. And we have small opening, the f numbers, you can see that it is larger in numbers. Simply we can say that it is kind of reverse process, like for f, the numbers become small, the aperture range or opening of the diaphragm of the lens will be more actually. So we can say that if a small number of f-stop there in the lens means it allows more light. It's because when the aperture is closed, it allows a narrow light or a small opening is enabled, and it controls the intensity of a light. So the standard f-stop values are mentioned in the below. You can see that it starts from f1.4, f2, f2.8, f4. You can see that if it starts from f to 1.4, then from the red colors you can see that it's double actually, and the black color you can see that it doubles actually. So these are the standard f values. So mostly our camera lenses will be starting from 1.2 or 1.4 to 22. That is the standard process. Then the second part is nothing, just a reminder. This is about the focal length, the distance between the optical center of the lens to the camera sensor actually. So while take any photograph, the that it plays on two medium actually. So what is the two? We already discussed about the two medium, and the playing around. Okay. Okay, playing around, we how the process of recording an image in a camera, it is, there is what all things we need to take a photograph or an image actually. So we will have we'll have a subject, and we are shooting, means we need to have a right amount of light, we need to have a right control over the camera, and we need to click it and capture it actually. This is the process, right? And the first part is, what all what all things to be taken care of actually. So so we need to control the intensity of the light. So for that purpose, we have a lens aperture in that. So any camera lens actually, whatever it may be, we need to have a control over the aperture of the camera lens. So for that purpose, it is controlled from the camera body itself, most of the cases. And there are also some lenses having the aperture control manually. We can control the aperture in the lens. We will call it as a manual focus lens or a manual lens, and it is mostly handled by the professionals actually. Most of the cameras coming in the market is having almost all auto controls actually. We can able to control the lens from the body itself actually. We can have the control over the aperture from the body. We can control the speed of the shutter from the body. We can control the settings of ISO also from the body actually. So basically the body determines actually. But in some cases, some depends on our convenience, we are using manual lenses also. In that case, we are controlling the complete control over the uh, uh, from the control from the lens actually. And one important thing about the control, we talk about the control of aperture, we talk about the control of shutter, and we also talk about the control of ISO. It's three controls I told. So apart from that, there is a very important controls in the camera lens is the focus actually. So the focus is an important and vital thing. But the focus is what is the focus actually. We will have a detailed look on focus in the future slides. So focus can be also controlled manually from the camera lens. Most of the professional lens support manual focus, and we can also focus the control from the camera body. So I hope these three things are clear. And the three things: focus, aperture, and standard F values. So we'll go to the next slide. This is just a basic classification, just what all lenses available in the market, and what kind of groupings normally created actually. So we can say that it's a broader area, but so the basic things or the standard format we are discuss here actually. The group of classification of lenses actually. So we have a prime, we have macro, we have wide angle, we have normal, we have telephoto and zoom lenses. So examples also I listed actually. So for a starter, or to explore more over the camera, what all the camera companies are giving with the camera bodies having a compact lens. Most of the case, it will be starting from around 18 mm to 55 mm. And it comes normally with the camera body. If you take the mirrorless, I think the most of the cases it will be starting from 15 to 45 mm lens actually. So this is the basic lens, or coming with any camera in the market. So In the second part, I clearly mentioned that if somebody want to explore more on the creative areas using the camera controls, better they need to carry or explore more on this is the cheapest lens available in the market is to learn the photography and basic control of the camera is the 50 mm 1.8 lens. So that's what I mentioned in the second part of the lens. We can say that the prime or fixed focal lenses means basically it is having a fixed focal length. That means 35 means 35 mm or a 50 means 50 mm. This is the example I mentioned actually. So there is the prime lenses available in the market from 8 mm to 600 mm in the market. It depends on the F numbers. Actually, the expense may go high and low. So fixed or prime lens means that there is the focal length of the lens is fixed actually. So what all things that affecting the focal length and other things we'll look in the next slides. So another set of lenses macro actually. The macro you used to shoot the small objects. Something macro normally will the range in 100 mm, 90 mm, 65 mm, and some cases there are 60 mm macros are available in the market actually. So what the advantage of macros is we will have a magnification size more and we will have uh, uh, more we can shoot small subjects with the real sizes and good magnification full details actually. So that is the advantage of the macro lens. The next is the wide angle we'll call it as wide angle because it covers more area. It can capture more size frame area. Those normally it starts from 8 mm to 24 mm. That will group it as a wide angle lens. Then the normal lens, as you can see that it's 15 mm 1.4. One example I returned as 1.4. There are 15 lens available from one onwards actually. The lens power is the f-stop number is less means it's slightly more expensive actually. So normal we call it as normal because it covers minimum 45 degree to around 47 normally. Up to 50-degree we will call it as a normal. So normally the angle, the straight angle we can call it as a human eye straight vision, something like it's around 45 degrees. That is we call it as a normal. Again, the telephoto lenses been used to shoot far subjects or distant subjects. So it's available in the market from 800 mm, and we can also use the different kind of converters out there in the market. So we will have zoom lenses. We'll call it as standard zoom. Again, the telephoto zoom. These lenses are why, because zoom means that the focal length can be variable. That is very focal length lenses, and that again available in the market from 600 up to 600 mm. So there's few example already listed actually. It is I listed here 24 to 105 or 18 135 1855. These all standard zoom lenses, and some telephoto 100 to 70 to 100 other actually 100 400 200 400. Many different companies having different set of lenses actually. Telephoto lenses, there are 200 to 600 is the 200 to 500 is the. So it depends on these kind of lenses used to shoot. We can shoot birds, mammals, etc. from a good distance without disturbing their the habitat or what. Mostly used by the photographers, wildlife photographers, sports photographers, etc. In the we can see in the sports events that a lot of people are standing with big lenses shooting from the far behind the stadiums or or even in the wildlife also. So that's what these are the basic lens groupings. So These are some lenses available in the market comes with the camera actually. So this is one is the budget lenses we can call it as. We have 50 mm lens, 85 mm. Then we will call it as all kit lens, that is mostly 18 to 55 lenses. That comes free with the camera actually. Then we will have a wide angle lens and a telephone. So this is what is an aperture ring. So this is an aperture 22, an example of an aperture. This is listed as a camera lens from Samyang, and it is 7.5. We'll call it as a fisheye. Small, that is the 3.5 fish is the aperture of that particular lens, the opening, and it may go up to 22. That is, for example, you can see that with a small opening, 22. So you can see the set of blades in the picture actually. This is the aperture ring. So what is the f-stop? So what is the f-stop or lens? How this f-stop? How we can denote the f-stop in a lens? So I told you f-stop aperture is just an opening of the camera lens, which allows light to come in the previous slide also. So how much in focus or behind the subject? We will look at. In photography, the main purpose of the lens is there are two main purpose of the lens used is. One is to allow the lens and control the intensity of the light, and it should be the most transparent. So for that purpose, we are using the best optics for making the photographic lenses. Apart from that, the f-stop. F-stop, I already told you in the previous slide that it controls the intensity of the lens by making the opening, the aperture opening smaller and bigger actually. So how in this slide, in all the lenses as along with the main criteria we told about any lenses is the previous slide. I clearly mentioned that all the lenses we will choose the lenses based on the focal length, and along the focal length there is an aperture choice we have. So there is in the slide you see one formula determines the focal length and aperture circle diameter and the f value. So most of us doesn't know that how this f value is coming in the camera and what is the relevance of a particular lens. And why that opening or f stop number is less, having more price also. So this is the design part, how the making of the lenses, how the components can be. So here, this is the formula. Just f-stop number is f-stop number. What f-stop number of a lens is getting by dividing the focal length of the lens by the aperture diameter, aperture opening of the lens when it is fixed maximum aperture. That is the number we are derived actually. In fact, for example, if you take, we have a lens that is having 50 mm focal length, and it is having, for example, 1.4 power as the f-stop. So if we want to calculate the how much opening, that diameter of the opening, we can derive using this formula. So f-stop of a lens is basically is the focal length divided by the aperture circle diameter, actually, the opening's diameter, actually. So while we have a lens, suppose having, take ideal case 50 mm with the lens power of 1.0. That means that particular lens having f-stop number 1 means it is having 50 mm focal length and 50 mm the circle diameter of the aperture. When that opening, one power is we selected in the camera lens, it is having the diameter of that opening, the aperture having the 50 mm. Because f-stop is, as you told, that it is deriving from the focal length y. So f-stop number is 1 means 50 mm focal length by 50 mm opening of the aperture. That is the ideal situation for a 1.0 lens. But normally the lenses are available in the market. Normally the lenses are from 1.2. It's very expensive lenses, and 1.4 is less expensive than 1.2 lens, and the cheapest is 1.8 lens, actually. So because there is a that f1.8 cheaper because the mechanism can be constructed very cheaper manner, and there is also limitation of the fastness of the lens. So the aperture opening is more, we'll call it as a fast lens also. Why? Because it allows more light. So this is the main effect of aperture in a lens. So you can see that the first picture, actually, there is 3 aperture, actually. The first aperture, you can see that it is having 1.7, and the second is slightly lower, and the third is slightly small opening. So in the second picture, you can see that f2 is it's a relatively small aperture than the in the first slide. It is the f8 was I selected third. In the second picture, actually, I'm just comparing with the f22 medium aperture, f8 and f2. You can see that f number decreases relative brightness of the factor of the 4. So what is the next slide? Next picture, actually. So this is the, so we have one f1.4 to f16, actually, and now we can see that what affects the picture, actually. In the down, actually, you can see that 1.4 allows more light. The subject is, our center of interest is very it's very brighter, or we can say it's almost burned. Then if we coming down, it relatively less light. Going towards upper f16 means the opening is closed, absolutely dark on the top rank. So we can see that is normal is around f4, because the diaphragm of the lens is controlling the intensity of the light, and it is getting almost like normal without less or without more color, actually. So this are one effect of the lens. Then effect of aperture is one more important thing, is how much area comes sharper in a picture is determined by the aperture opening of a lens, actually. So a lens having, if we set a lens with a larger aperture, means the the area comes under sharp focus, or we will call it as acceptably sharper area of that particular picture will be less for a lens set we used to shoot lower aperture, and the area comes sharper will be more if we shoot a lens with small aperture. So that particular the range of the area or comes under sharp focus, we will call it as depth in a frame. Depth means the for to our eyes, the area comes under sharp focus. We'll call it as depth actually. So we'll call it as depth of the field. Depth of the field determined uh, in a in photography. Depth of the field determined by the camera's lens opening actually. The intensity, we can see that the intensity of lens or the quantity of the amount of light can be controlled. We can use two factors are depending for that. It is lens aperture and the shutter the speed. But the depth or the area comes under the sharp focus to our eye, or in a particular frame is determined by this aperture actually. So there is two different pictures shot into different aperture actually. So the first case using small f number means wide opening. Wide opening means more light, or definitely we can control the shutter more. We can shoot in a higher speed actually. It's a general thing or a general term, like if we have more lights allowing the cameramen, we can go with speed. We can definitely we can go higher speeds, and for we need to have a normal light or a normal exposure actually. These are both are normal, but you can see that the second picture having the more balls are clear actually. You can see that the second row and third row we can also see that the last ball itself not that much clear, but at least the range, the focus, the focus, the area comes under sharp focus. That the second picture is more areas very sharp, and the depth we can see that the depth in the second picture is more actually. So this control or this kind of pictures we can use only f-stop. So there is a couple of other things also controls the depth of the field, but initially we take depth of the field. There is two other factors also affecting the depth of field. You can see that in the middle portion only you can acceptably sharper. The one is, as we all seen that the f number. But in photography, placing the object is the important thing to control or the control the depth. So I'm talking about we have say we have three set of lenses, three lenses. We selected three lenses, and three lenses having different focal length. That is, for example, 150 mm lens. We select 2.8 aperture, and corresponding to the speed we took a picture. The same subject. The second lens we selected 85 mm. We selected 2.8 f-stop, and corresponding to the speed we click the picture. And the third we selected 100 mm lens and showed the same picture with same f-stop, that is 2.8. we will not get the same range of depth in three different pixels because the depth of the field also depend on the subject placing. Here, what we did was we use selected different focal length. So different focal length, we are shooting the same subject means the 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 last one we used is 100 mm 2.8. That means it will be the closer to the camera, and that particular even though we are using the same f-stop number 2.8, but the shallow depth or the area comes under sharp focus in that particular, the third frame will be lesser than the area, that depth what we are getting in the first case, that is using the routine. So the depth of field also important place in the subject, before, even though we are changing the f-stop number of a particular lens. The other way is, instead of this, we can the first case, if we selected the first case with changing the lens, that's the same thing we can also change in the, once we are placing the subject from a camera to the, from the camera to subject distances from 4 feet using the same f number. And if you are changing the subject distance, we are using the same lens. Suppose we are taking a 50 mm lens and we are shooting just the distance we are shooting is slightly different using the same f number and focal length. Means again there is a change in the setup. While placing the subject in the first case will be having lesser area comes under sharp focus, and the last when the subject is going more distance from the cameraman, so it gives more depth of field. So again, this is another slide shows effect of aperture. The first case is just the light, just look uh, the pattern of light recorded. The second side is talking about the background, how much area comes under sharp focus. You can see that on the top left hand side, this temperature 2.8, we have only the one. There is two dots. Only the first one is slightly clear, comparatively clearer than in any other features on the pen. So this is the first case. The first case we can see that it is 2.8, 3.5, 4.5. So here the lens blur, we can call it as the range acceptably sharper, the most sharper in this frame is using 42 numbers. The first picture shows see the diaphragm of the lens effects in the picture. You can see that there are, the first case it is uh, uh, more clear around the lamp. The second, there is a sharper. So this is the main effects of the aperture, numbers uh, in a picture. Actually, we are changing the number of picture while taking photograph. So the second purpose, we had a detailed decision, something like the subject facing and lens lens. Even though the lens we are using the same aperture also having it. So in this picture, see there is, you can see that uh, how the depth, how we use. You can see that the first eye is very clear, but the second eye you can see that there is a lot of compromise in the the depth. But ideally, the first the picture is good, and this area comes under sharp focus. You can see that the nose and the eyes, that area comes under sharp focus, and clearly played with the depth. Actually, it's a shot using 150 and 1.8, 1.4 length. So see the details, how the detail comes. how the depth is clearly useful. So again, this is for landscape. And so normally we use to shoot landscape because we need more details in a frame actually. So we need maximum depth of the field. So we are using uh, more F numbers to shoot landscape, and mostly we are using more coverage. So the depends on the focal length. The lens coverage will be also very huge. So the focal length determines the angle of view, that is horizontal angle and vertical angle and diagonal angle. So there is less focal length means we'll get more angle of view. If it is more focal length means there will be a compromise in the angle of view. That is the basic principle of any lens using any lens using photography camera lens. Uh, you know, any if it depends any sensor or any other thing also. We have if you select any camera body type, the mobile also, nowadays mobiles also coming with taking portraits. There are 3, 4, even there are 5 lenses coming.
So your volume is a little low now.
Okay, so sorry. So, now I hope it is clear. Okay. So we talk about the lens aperture, and that's how good is we are using the um, focal length and f-stop number actually for taking landscape and portrait. So again, these are the shutter speed effects of the 3 controls, primary controls we used. To the third control is the shutter speed actually. So this is the effect of shutter speed actually. In the first case, we shutter speed related to the time actually. The time taken actually, normally it is we express it in seconds actually. Here it is, the first case it is 1/800 and 1/7 and 1/20. 1/20 means the more time allowed, then because of this you can see that the leaf is blur, and the second case also it is not the motion, we can feel the correct motion of the motion in the picture actually. So this is the primary thing that affects the time, exposure time, shutter speed. Then this is the standard shutter of camera open. Normally in a digital SLR or any other camera, any camera, even in our mobile also it is having a small shutter actually, and we will call it this the mechanism place just before the sensor actually. We will call that particular plane as the focal plane actually, because the image is captured in a focal plane, and we'll use the focal plane shutter, and the same plane the sensor is fixed actually. So normally any camera with the the shutter will be most of the cases it will be in the just in front of the sensor only. And previously there were some cameras having the shutter inside lens actually. Now those cameras are not coming into market. There are a couple of lenses are available with the shutter inside the lens actually. So wide format, some lenses are also available in the market. So in that cameras, that shutter inside the lens also. But our 99, if we say 99% of the case, the focal plane shutter is used in any camera, even it is even small or big cameras. It's just in front of the camera. So these are the effects actually. Slow shutter speed, it fully opens the medium shutter speed. It narrows the opening of the lens, and these are the this is how the sensor is So the medium and the fastest shutter speed is there, means the will need to keep the persistent lights to take the details properly. So this is this is the speed normally used for working with the shutter speed and the flash. If you are using any external flash connecting to the camera, normally the shutter sync only one single maximum. There is a range, particular range, that particular range only the shutter can work to allow the flash to work properly actually. So we will call it as the maximum speed, we'll call it as a flash sync of that camera. So maximum in the it is will be 250 to 300, sometimes up to 400 at the latest. Sony's cameras comes with the flash sync speed is 400, 1 by 400 of a second actually. Normally it is between 200 to 250 in any camera. So this is the the first top. It is the stages of the stages of the shutter actually. The shutter curtains. It is a set of blades actually. So it is moving vertically. Then the third stage is the first waveformer is coming, and only the middle portion actually the flash is working properly on, fully open, traveling. So the middle portion only getting the proper, and this time the normal flash. On the third, you can see that high speed. We are using the more speed in the shutter actually. Then to record the details, we need to have the opening will be moving downsides. Then we need to have a high speed sync flash. It will completely need to keep on giving up to the third cut, the second curtain as completely open. And since it is a small area, that it needs a high speed sync. We need to keep on giving reflashes continuously. Then only it will having proper properly recorded on the camera sensor actually. So sync speed is very important while selecting the sync speed of a flash is very important to selecting the any body of the camera actually. So professionals more may go for maximum sync speed in a camera actually. So next is the key. Next key control is ISO. So this is the range of ISO we normally. ISO ranges directly depend on the sensor we are using in a camera, any camera actually. So you can see that sensitivity in terms, we will we actually we look into that there is a high sensitive low sensitive the pixels can be we can set the sensitivity intensity sensitivity that that can be captured for our particular scene, but it depends on the camera sensor. We can increase and decrease the sensitivity, and normally the low numbers 50, 100 onwards, it is available up to recent updated cameras comes with even 4 lakhs ISO speed actually. So we need to understand how much what is the acceptably sharp focus we are getting in a particular setting of ISO speed. ISO, we will call it as it starts from standard, starts from 100 to 200. So again, if we talk about the speed, the quantity of the light given to the sensor will be double for 50s, while we are changing to 50 to 100 means it gives double of the light to the each pixel recorded actually. So again, the problem is if you are giving high sensitive there is advantage to we can shoot high speed, or we can use more closed environment, like we can close even if our aperture is maximum widely open, and there is a particular speed we can operate the camera without shake also. Even that case we can also we can only there is we can only increase the ISO scales actually. So ISO scales, how, what ISO, what speed, those kind of things, you know, we'll discuss in the next class. But these are this slide just gives, you know, what are the standard speeds, and you know, what is the purpose, what is the belt available in this. So primary three controls we discussed actually. We had a discussion over the shutter speed, f-stop number, and ISO. Then this is the effect of, you know, there is a minor each pixel pixel we are giving instructions. Sensor will be alerted by giving more ISO, means it is more alert, more sensitive, means there are also chances of recording noises or grains in a uh, picture actually. That's what it's clear resolution. So we need to understand how much pixel, how much speed of the ISO that our camera can go for, or our cameras, what best ISO is used to take print picture actually. So while we are checking in the camera, there are less chances of seeing, sometimes there will be less chances of seeing the minor grains, but if we print a picture we can see that grains. So this is the exposure triangle. We are talking about the three primary controls. So in this, you know, you can see that the three primary control affect the ideal situation to control the light. So the first case, the here shutter means freeze actions. It will increase the blurriness, and then the third, the noise level ISO. If it is it's a low, means there is no noise, but noise, and again too high noise. Then f-stop number, as you know, from the 1 to 32, it is listed. The first case, there will be lesser area, less depth. Then we'll have more depth, then deep depth. That is so this is the three primary controls we are playing with the any camera for photography. So dealing with the use of aperture and shutter speed, these are the so, you know, there are some examples actually. So the primary three controls we already discussed actually. So then the next level, you know, we need to explore what is the ideal situation, and what ISO, what speed we will go. So these are three, just, you know, see that in this, you know, there's action we need to have higher speeds. This is blasting a balloon in a hand actually, but you can see that fraction, the action is freeze actually. So this is an example for shooting high speed. Again, on top, you know, it is, you know, the Milky Way using the wide, maybe around, you know, we can open cameras shutter using, you know, very large time, something we can record the details for a long time. Then the the, the picture will be something similar to like this, you know, because it allows a lot of time to record the details of the lights coming from the very far distance of you know, different stars that is recorded actually. So 100 there is 100 to 1600 ISO. This is a general classification. The first case is, you know, full sun or daylight. We only work with the small number of ISO numbers. Found the light is getting low, means will increase the ISO levels. Then means this is generally based on the daylight environment. So there is no light where we are taking photographs inside, then we'll go for increase the ISO speed. But again, what are situations what all controls we can be we will handle tomorrow actually. So this is again an examples of the small the effect of shutter actually. So the first case we allowed more time to record the picture actually. So we got the picture, the water flowing, something like this, similar to like pouring. So effect is like almost a falling water. You can see that motion inside. The second one is a frozen action. So we'll be using the more shutter speed in this. Sorry. Excuse me, I have a small issue with the computer. Okay. Traits. Since speed we discussed. Okay, facts. I think that the rendering got some problem. Let's see that. Sorry for the trouble. Okay. Okay. Here, next control is white balance. So what is the ambient light? How we select ambient light? So this 2-3 slides we'll discuss today. And I think it's time up 1 o'clock now, and we will look into the more details next class. So we'll go to the camera settings now. Camera setting part. The first control is white balance. Just 5 minutes will wind up the session today for the today puja. So we'll go for the white balance. I know a slightly boring. We're discussing the most theoretical part of controls, but tomorrow we'll explore more on controls. Shooting. We'll explore more with controls and exposure levels and the practical side, and we'll refer the images how to get on this. The white balance is nothing that it's just fixing our camera to the right color tone what we are shooting. Actually we are communicating with the camera sensor that we are working on this particular color ambience. So because all cameras are not color intelligent cameras actually, so we need to set the colors correctly before shooting any pictures. So white balance mainly is used to neutralize the white colors and the same. So we are working with the different color tones. Suppose we are working inside a home with different, even our walls are different. Means if we are bright light source, that wall color, if it is a red wall or a green color wall, that affects the dress colors or what the subjects we are shooting a film, that will film or camera will be having the same issue. Those kind of things to avoid it by keeping the color tone setting in the camera. So we are calibrating the correct color setting by the correct color white balance in a camera. That is, we'll discuss more on tomorrow. So this is the situation where you can see that both pictures are having two tones actually. So it depends on how properly we set the white balance in a camera. So the detail, which color, which tone, what all things, there is warm color to cool color, those kind of things will be discussed. These are the general settings of white balance. So white balance, we can see that these are the general settings comes in the camera actually. The auto white balance setting given by camera daylight. These are the fixed set of white balance comes in that comes in any camera we select. Even in our mobile camera also the same configuration is coming actually. That's what the auto white balance, daylight, cloudy, shade, and fluorescent, flash, custom white balance. And it split up from the 2500 to 2800 to normally 10,000 to 8,000 in cameras. So we will discuss more from the white balance. So these are the general settings. So tomorrow's sessions will be more discussing more about the modes, what all modes will should use in the camera, and settings, and the three primary controls we discussed, and a couple of things to be discussed, like what are the proper setting, train, all those things will be covered in tomorrow, and with some example, we can explore more on the tomorrow session. Puja, we can wind up for the day.
Yes, sure. And it was really a great session, and I am sure
Please,
everybody learned a lot.
please collect the questions, the special questions, and mail to me.
Yeah, there were a couple of questions that were coming. One, every people wanted to see your work also. That maybe
Yeah,
we can show them your work tomorrow a little bit.
tomorrow. Yeah,
And
tomorrow. Yeah.
yeah, as there are students they're watching, they wanted to say, so how do I improve my photography using a phone when I'm using iPhone second generation? That's a Read Baldota.
Okay. Okay.
And another question by Daksh Pillai is, which camera is better, mirrorless or DSLR?
Okay. Anything important? This thing right now we can answer it. Okay.
Yeah, you can answer.
Yeah. The first case, using iPhone. Maybe I think you are using 11 onwards any phone. 11, 12 is fantastic product actually. That's what. The problem is iPhones with comparing with the SLR is, uh, we'll be compromising the depth actually. There is a limitation in getting the details, because normally we are working on a three-dimensional. Our eye is working on three-dimensional, and we are getting images in two-dimensional manner in any camera actually. So those controls, iPhones for a landscape or a scenery or a travel will be great. But if you take for a particular application, like if you want to print a slightly larger photo with the full details of a portrait, means it's having any camera, mobile phone. But the good part is iPhone having a good feature for low light photography compared with any product in the market actually. And this fantastic sensor is coming with the iPhone actually. That is the coolest part, and you can't compare with the mobile phone with the camera, because we have edge over controlling the optics in a camera. We have edge over controlling the size in size of pixels. That is the main component of the key camera is the size of the sensor actually. So there our mobile having a lot of limitation actually. So we are recording with a very large pixel, and we can record more light. That is, so semiconductor integration, we can go for any number of pixels, like in a small sensor we can go 100 megapixel, but a professional camera with 20 megapixel can record more details than any other. So it is not is not competing with the pixels or nothing. So it is competing the detailing of a particular point or a particular pixels color details are recorded actually. That's what the area is. The second question is regarding the mirrorless or mirror actually. So definitely there was limitation for mirrorless technology in the initial launch, but that time is past up. Time 7-8 years means the technology is very very developed right now. So nowadays Canon already stopped the mirror camera manufacturing actually. The other companies maybe wind up soon actually. So there will not be any new camera lenses in the future for mirror cameras. So all the upcoming lenses or upgradation will be only for the mirrorless, and having lot of advantages, lot of fans, and it just overcome all technology limitation right now. And the one now in the market, even if you take Sony or Panasonic or Canon, anyone, even Nikon also come with very good models actually. So it's a war of mirrorless camera now. So no doubt, go for a mirrorless. Pooja,
Sorry, I was on mute.
Yeah.
I was saying that that's a good information. Also, I have somebody. I think it's Varun. It's somebody is asking, sir, how to control the shaking. And Varun Seni wants to know what is the difference between shutter speed and the depth of the field.
Okay. So we'll answer that also. Now, shaking, the shake effect is we can only control using the shutter in a camera actually. The depth can be controlled by two options. I clearly told you. One is the f number of a particular, if you are using a particular lens, the depth is controlled by you can simply changing the f-stop number actually. If you are using the smallest number, the depth will be very less. So if you want to blur, you can shoot less f numbers. And if in that case also, the placing the subject is very important actually. If you are placing the subject very close to the camera, you'll get more depth. Depth means shallow depth of the field. And if you want more depth means you need to increase the number of the f numbers actually. So most of the case, our people, or if you are taking for TV, you want to avoid the background or something like that. So in that case, you need to go for a smaller f number or placing the subject closer to the camera.
Okay,
I think it is
I'll just take one more question of Satpal Verma. He's
Please.
saying how to control the frame, or how to set the frame to get the best quality picture.
Frame in the sense, I think he is talking about the composition part actually.
Okay.
Yes, that we'll discuss tomorrow's session actually. We are not
okay. Wonderful.
The placing the subject, those things will be discussed on tomorrow's session actually as well.
Wonderful. So guys, tomorrow's session is going to happen on our YouTube channel. So to ensure that you all have access to the channel, I have shared the link here in the chat window. I request you go and subscribe to the channel so you get all the updates and information. And the feedback form will also be shared tomorrow. All your questions will be answered and all your queries will be resolved tomorrow with Mr. Abdul Noushad ji. And yes, when we talk about photography and how to shoot like a professional, so you have to make sure that you learn. And if anybody has missed any part of this session, you can go to our YouTube channel and watch it again. Any questions, you can collect the set of your question. Tomorrow you can ask them from the sir. And rest, stay safe, take care of yourself, and don't go out. Varun Seni is saying, thank you, sir, for giving me the great answer. And I have many people saying, thank you for the wonderful session. And this is not ending today. Yes, it's tomorrow also. So, sir, thank you so much for your time today. And tomorrow we'll meet again, 11:30 sharp. And hopefully we'll be able to answer the questions of the audience.
Yeah, what all questions are will answer it tomorrow. Okay, thank you, Pooja. Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone
so
there.
Much.
Okay.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.